MakingAScene.org brings you fan loyalty is becoming the new currency of the music industry. And man, I am absolutely thrilled to share this explainer with you today. Because look, if you're an independent artist right now, you probably know that feeling of just being utterly exhausted, right? You're constantly running on this endless algorithmic treadmill, just feeding the content machine, kind of crossing your fingers and hoping to be seen. Well, today we're talking about finally stepping off that treadmill to build something real, something sustainable, and most importantly, something that is entirely yours.
So let me ask you this. Does a like actually pay your rent? It's a question that hits kind of hard, doesn't it? Because as a modern independent artist, you're literally doing more unpaid labor for social platforms than ever before. Think about it. You're writing the songs, recording the music, editing the videos, posting the reels, managing the comments, the whole shebang. The platforms love to call it opportunity, but let's be honest. From the artist side, it really feels like you're running an entire media company for free. And the hard truth? All this passive platform engagement simply doesn't automatically translate to a sustainable living. Okay, let's dive into this. MakingAScene.org really hits the nail on the head here, pointing out a super painful reality for working musicians. A stream absolutely doesn't mean someone actually knows your name. You know, a viral clip can feel like this massive breakthrough, right up until those viewers just fade away into the black hole of passing internet trends. Unless those passing viewers transition into an owned relationship, someone you can actually reach out to later, you're basically standing completely outside the real economy of your own music.
Which brings us to our first main section, the empty attention trap.
We really need to unpack the fundamental difference here between passive, rented engagement and true, owned fan relationships. Passive metrics, we're talking Spotify followers, TikTok views, Instagram likes. They're brilliant doorways for discovery, for sure. But remember, their entire business model is built to keep users inside their platform, endlessly scrolling. Owned metrics, on the other hand, like email list subscribers, ticket buyers, folks who grab your merch, these represent real, tangible people. Having these means you can actually reach the fan again to drive your business forward, without just hoping and praying an algorithm smiles on you today. It's like they say, you simply can't build a solid house on rented land.
And that brings us to a massive philosophical pivot for this explainer: loyalty as the currency.
We have got to stop counting empty attention and start measuring active, ground-up loyalty. Just imagine for a second having 50,000 followers on social media, but zero direct way to reach them. Sure, that number looks fantastic sitting there in your bio, but it's effectively meaningless if the platform's algorithm just decides to bury your big tour announcement. You are completely 100% dependent on a system that, let's face it, has absolutely zero personal loyalty to your career.
And this brilliantly illustrates the alternative. Contrast that massive empty crowd with just 2,000 owned fans sitting in a system that you control. These are real fans who specifically gave you permission to contact them directly. Having a smaller, dedicated group that you can shoot an email to about a show, a new record, or a merch drop is just infinitely more valuable for generating actual income than a stadium full of passive scrollers. You can move them because you've built a real, authentic connection.
So how do we actually pull this off? Let's move right into the execution phase, building your artist hub.
Right? It is officially time to stop treating your website like some dead digital brochure that just holds a bio and a few old photos. It needs to be your business's central command center. Here are the concrete steps to transition your fans from those rented platforms over to your own independent ecosystem. First, use your socials as doorways to drive traffic directly to your hub. Second, capture their data with crystal clear, honest consent through an email list or a system like a fan passport. Third, actually reward them for taking that action. And fourth, nurture that relationship directly over time. Consent is the absolute foundation here, folks. You're not tricking anyone for their data. You are respectfully inviting them closer into your world.
Now, you might be wondering about that fan passport term I just threw out there. Let's define it. A fan passport is absolutely not some complicated crypto gimmick or a confusing tech wallet. No way. It is a super simple, highly human way to track and reward real-world behavior. Think of it exactly like getting a stamp in a physical passport. When a fan actually shows up, they come to a show, they buy a t-shirt, or they join your list, they get a stamp that visibly marks that real-world participation.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these passport stamps create a genuinely fair exchange. The fan is giving you their attention, their trust, and their permission. In return, you, the artist, are giving them exclusive access, recognition, and real value, things like merch discounts, private live recordings, or maybe early ticket access. It's just a beautiful, direct way to recognize a fan's effort and basically say, hey, I see you and I really appreciate you showing up for my music.
To really ground these business mechanics, makingascene.org gives us this next section, a better fan journey.
Let's move to and see how this builds a relationship using a hypothetical fan. We'll call her Lisa. In the old, broken system, Lisa sees an Instagram reel, she hits follow, and then poof, she disappears into the algorithm crowd forever. But in this new journey, she sees the reel, she actually visits your website, and she opts into your fan passport just to get a show alert. Then, when you finally play her city, she buys a ticket, attends the show, and scans a quick QR code right at the merch table to get her stamp. Eventually, she officially joins your membership. She naturally transitioned from a totally passive scroller to an active, loyal supporter, all because you built a clear, rewarding path for her to follow. And hey, speaking of memberships, there's a crucial point we really need to remember here. Memberships are containers for loyalty. They are not content treadmills. I know so many artists who are terrified, literally terrified, that starting a Patreon or a Substack is just going to eat their lives with demands for endless new content until they totally burn out. But listen, the very best memberships, they just offer better connection around the stuff you were already doing. If you're rehearsing, share a quick 30-second clip. If you're printing merch, just give your members early access to buy it. It's all about providing meaningful access for your biggest supporters, not just generating nonstop noise.
Which perfectly sets up the ultimate goal of organizing your fans, the music middle class, a sustainable working life.
So the crucial point is building a sustainable, working life where you can actually pay your bills entirely without needing a major label. It requires a complete shift in mindset. The old industry relied heavily on gatekeepers, viral hope, rented reach, and that lottery ticket dream of getting discovered. The new industry is a totally different ballgame. It is all about direct engagement, owning your own hub, utilizing cool tools like the Fan Passport, and honestly, just getting organized. Replacing that algorithmic hope with direct, organized engagement gives you, the artist, the real leverage. Because when you own the relationship, you can prove your actual demand to venues, labels, and sponsors. You're not just guessing anymore.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question. How many fans can you actually move? And I don't mean how many followers do you have or how many views your last TikTok racked up. I mean, can you sell 100 tickets in a specific city? Can you get 300 real fans to support a vinyl pre-order? Because it is time to stop chasing empty numbers and start organizing your true fans.
The fan of the future is quite literally a part of your economy. When you take the time to organize, recognize, and reward them, they step right off the sidelines. They become the living, breathing network around your work, sustaining your career long after the viral hype fades away. Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry.